Hello, Best Everyone. Here in today's video, we are going to do another one of these Druid roster creations today. We have done a Marvel vs. DC one. We have done a Marvel vs. Mortal Kombat. We have done a DC Comic vs. Mortal Kombat 2. We have done horror movie characters with like the horror slasher characters like concept. And then the other one, and then this one here. Mortal Kombat 12. I forgot about. I did one with Mortal Kombat 12 concept, and then this last one we're doing right now is a concept for Injustice 3 roster. And I do have a couple of story plots they can do on here and stuff. A couple of different things they can do with this too, so I'll explain that too. And what I'm doing with this roster is I'm doing this deal where it's pretty much build the roster, like literally build it. Because if you remember Injustice 2, there was approximately about 25 characters in the game, and then that's not including that's not including. I include them because I think they count being in there. When it comes to characters like the skin character creations, because you had Reverse Flash, because if you go to Flash, you can switch and use Reverse Flash. If you go to Cheetah, you can change to Vixen. If you go to Captain Cold, you can change to Mr. Freeze. If you go to Hal Jordan, you can use John Stewart's Green Lantern. Oh, and then if you go to Raiden's, you can switch it from Raiden to Black Lightning. So basically, you got 5, I would say add-on characters, because when you went to them, they did kind of have different moveset whenever you went to them and everything. Some of them did anyway. Sorry guys, yawning. Anyways, so those 5 characters there, so you got 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. So that's about 30 characters, not including the guest ones. So you got your Ninja Turtles and then Hellboy and stuff, and not including Raiden. So there's the 4 Turtles and then Hellboy and then Raiden. So there's Raiden. Oh, and then you also have the Autumn. So, okay. Yeah, I would say there's probably, for Injustice 2, I would say the character roster is probably right at about 40 characters in the game total. I mean, pretty close. I mean, maybe a couple characters shy, so maybe about between 38 and 40 characters in the game. But I'm doing this deal where it's like build the roster. And from what I've got here, is a pretty nice sized roster, and 2, there are some returning characters on this thing too. So, and they do returning characters in games all the time, because in the first Injustice game, if y'all remember, they actually did have good variants of the Justice characters, and they had the bad ones. Who's to say they can't bring, because they had the good Superman in Injustice 1, and they have the one that kind of caused havoc in the second one. So they can technically kind of bring, that Superman in there, and then, try to stop everything. So I can definitely see multiverse is kind of getting put in here and stuff. So what I mean by multiverses, I'll explain because I have a villain that's can be used for that. So here we go. This is my roster list, and I'm going to read it to you guys. I have Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Aquaman, Beast Boy, Green Lantern, Green Arrow, Black Canary, Cyborg, Martian Manhunter, Mira, Supergirl, Batgirl, Batwoman, Batwing, Catwoman, Raven, Starfire, Red Tornado, Shazam, Hawkgirl, and Hawkman. I put both on there because I feel like both would be interesting to be on the game and stuff. Because I know Hawkgirl was on the first game and stuff, so she didn't come back for the second. So I think it'd be really interesting for her to make a return for the third one and stuff if they do a third one. I think Hawkman would be pretty cool to throw in there too. We have Blue Beetle, Firestorm, John Constantine, Zatanna, Trigon. Now, Trigon, I think, would be an interesting villain for Justice 3. Because I think he'd be that one villain to cause havoc. To release hell on Earth in a place like that. Because Trigon's a pretty evil dude. And I think it'd be kind of cool. I think that would be a pretty cool story concept. Between him and another villain I have here is Necron, which is the Black Lantern, one of the Black Lantern characters, which is part of the Blackest Night comic. I think him and Trigon would be interesting team up duos for that concept, because both of them would just make this realm so dark, it's not even funny. Like, I think those two would be interesting for a story concept. Bane, the next one I have here is Bane. Joker. I can see Joker making a return. They did it with the Justice 2. Obviously, they can do something. Same with Shazam. Even though they killed... I have Shazam on here. Now, yes, they killed Shazam in Justice 1 and stuff. But, like I did the Joker, they brought him back for the second one. With Shazam, they could have done the same thing. Or they could have brought a variant Shazam from a different timeline or something. Next one I have here is Deathstroke. He was in the first games. I wouldn't see why not make him come back. Deathstroke, Harley Quinn, King Shark. Now everyone I know is going to want Harley Quinn in here because Harley Quinn is a pretty popular character. So, Killer Croc, Clayface. I've seen Clayface being mentioned a lot, for Justice 3, and a lot of people wanted to see him make a return. And plus, he's been a recommended character for quite a bit of different other games too, so I chose Clayface for this one. Black Manta, Deadshot, Black Adam, Darkseid, Atrocitus, Sinestro, Lex Luthor. Even though Lex Luthor died in the first game, I think I can see some returning characters making a comeback. Captain Cold, Mr. Freeze. Now, even though they brought both of those in Justice 2, I thought it was cool that they brought Mr. Freeze. But when you switch him over to Captain Cold, Mr. Freeze had a different moveset compared to Captain Cold. So they really could have just thrown Mr. Freeze on the roster slot and then done something else. That way it would have been an extra character, and then less for them to come up with somebody else or something. I feel like that's what they should have done with Mr. Freeze. I like Mr. Freeze; he's a pretty cool villain, but I think that's what they should have done with him. Next one I have here is Heatwave, Firefly, the Anti-Monitor. Now, the Anti-Monitor, if y'all remember, Anti-Monitor is part of the big thing with the multiverse and stuff. Between him and Trigon or Necron, whichever one I feel like those three, or whichever one of those three they do, will be really interesting, especially for a multiverse deal, because that's the thing about the Anti-Monitor is he can bring, realities into these multiverses and stuff. and all these variants, like a variant of Superman, like they showed in Injustice. You had a variant of Wonder Woman. You had a variant of Batman as well. So like you can definitely do some interesting things with that, and it'd be a really interesting concept. It really would. This next one I have here are a couple of about 4 of these characters I threw in here, and now these characters are actually mentioned quite a bit that they won in this Justice game, 3 game. Are the Watchmen characters: Night Owl, Rorschach, Dr. Manhattan, and Silk Spectre. I feel like those 4 would actually be pretty interesting, especially Rorschach, because I know there's a lot of people that like Rorschach, especially in Dr. Manhattan. I know I don't think Night Owl gets that much, but I threw him on it anyway because there might be somebody that might like to play with him and stuff. So, and same with the girl. I don't really know much about Silk though. I think I've only watched Watchmen one time, and it's kind of a difficult comic to understand because they take place in a multiverse parallel in a multiverse timeline. But yeah, interesting character. Okay. And the last character I have left is John Stewart's Green Lantern. I feel like they can do something different with him too. So this is my thing with that one. Okay, here's my next DLC pack. DLC pack 1: Red Hood, Nightwing, Damian Wayne, Robin, Dr. Fate, Solomon Grundy, and Two-Face are DLC pack for my first one. For DLC pack 2, I have Booster Gold, Plastic Man, Black Lightning, Mr. Terrific, The Autumn, and Superboy. They'd be interesting characters. DLC pack 3, we have Mr. Miracle, Big Barda. Big Barda and Mr. Miracle are complete package characters. They both have to be in there. Same with like Green Arrow and Black Canary, because if you're gonna put a character like that in there, you might as well put the other one in there because like they're complete packaged. And I know Big Barda is actually a pretty interesting character, especially for the Injustice storylines, from what I understand, especially the huge, the multiverse trend. So, next one I have is Static Shock. I know there's a lot of Static Shock fans out there, and he was mentioned to be in Injustice 2, but he showed up in the mobile instead. The next one I have is Eclipso, Mary Marvel, Jessica Cruz's Green Lantern, Gorilla Grodd, and then Cheetah, of course. I feel like Cheetah would be pretty interesting. I feel like Cheetah deserves a return as well, because that's actually like one of Wonder Woman's like most arch nemesis. So, next one I have here is Scarecrow, Power Girl. I think it'd be interesting, and since you're doing multiverses and stuff, since you have Supergirl, I think, and since Power Girl is kind of the variant of Supergirl anyway, I think it'd be cool if you had Power Girl in here too. So, and there's probably some things you can do with Power Girl and stuff, but because the thing I learned from Power Girl is she's more aggressive than Supergirl. That makes sense, I guess. So, obviously, they can do some different sets with Power Girl. So, next one I have here is I have these 2 characters, Fire and Ice, which are these 2 female characters from the Justice League series. Fire, if you don't know, she can do like a green flame, and then Ice obviously can freeze. But I'm sure with Ice they can do something different with her moveset or something. Another villain I have here is Carousel, Silver Swan, which are a couple more Wonder Woman villains that I think would be interesting. Swamp Thing, and then Ares, God of War. I think Ares would be an interesting character to go with. If they did like Trigon and Ares. Trigon could be this big, Titan villain, and then Ares could just be the right hand, second in command, causing war, everything in because that's his role. He is the god of war, so I think it'd be interesting to have. That'd be kind of cool story concept for for a game like Trigon and Ares, like, So the next one I have here for DLC Pack 5 is Stargirl, Saint Walker, which is a Blue Lantern, Huntress, Riddler, Steel, Wonder Girl, Metallo, and Brainiac. Yes, Brainiac was the villain for the second one, for Injustice. Even though they probably won't use him for like a story because they already used him, they can still bring him as a return of DLC character because it's a Superman villain, and like I said, they can bring back returning characters for games and stuff. So that's why I have Brainiac on there. Other DLC pack I have here is DLC Pack 6. That is a Superman villain known as Doomsday. I think Doomsday would be really interesting for Injustice 3. A guest character I have is Judge Dredd. Because we had Hellboy. I know they're probably not going to bring him back, but I think Judge Dredd would be interesting. I have Tim Drake's Red Robin. I think that would be interesting. That way you pretty much have all the Bat family characters pretty much running around in here. Teen Titans character Tara from the Teen Titans show. I think she'd be an interesting character. And from what I was told, she is actually was a requestable character for quite a few different times when they was trying to add Teen Titans characters to the some of these Injustice games and stuff, and she was one of the ones that popped up that they wanted on there. So, and then the last guest character I have on here is the Mask. I think the Mask would be an interesting character for Injustice 3. Not to mention he could break the fourth wall, but he could bend reality. It'd be so interesting to see what his moveset does. I think it'd be pretty cool and very creative with how they would do it. Now I have some more and stuff. Now these are just extra add-ons or recommendations I'd like to see come to this game too. And this is me building the roster. We got Penguin. I think Penguin would be interesting for Injustice 3. Captain Autumn. I think Captain Autumn would be a pretty good one. And two, I don't think I've ever seen them use Captain Autumn very much. I think he probably was in Injustice. I think they had him in Injustice 3. I think they had him in Injustice the first game, but I don't remember if he had a very big plot or not. It's been a while since I played the first one. I have a couple of guest characters. These are Mortal Kombat characters. Normally they've added they've added some Mortal Kombat characters from the first two games, so why not add someone here? I added 6 Mortal Kombat characters to this thing, just to kind of. And I added characters Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Katana, Melina, Reptile, and Noob Saibot. I feel like those characters would be interesting for a game like this. So I even added. It's kind of funny. I have 2 Katanas on here. I added Katana from the Suicide Squad movie. I feel like her character would be pretty cool for a game and stuff. So why not? Another guest character I threw on here I think would be a pretty cool aspect. I know a lot of people were wanting characters like He-Man or Lion-O from Thundercats. One I threw on here I thought would work pretty well, be interesting, is Conan the Barbarian. I think Conan the Barbarian would be an interesting character to throw in here and stuff. So. Another DC character I threw in here, and I think it'd be pretty cool to throw him in here, is Hourman. I think he'd be pretty cool, and I've seen him on Justice League teams before, movies and stuff, and stuff. So I don't know. They did have him in the one Justice League movie called Justice League of Society and stuff, which was that World War II Justice League team where Wonder Woman was kind of the leader of that group. So The next two villains I have is Steppenwolf, which was on pretty big villain there. I think it'd be pretty cool to have him in DLC or something. And then another Flash villain, Captain Boomerang, and as a Suicide Squad member, so it'd pretty interesting to have him on there as well. And then last but not least, I threw on here, and that is the Grifter, which, if you don't know, the Grifter was on the movie, the Flash movie, when they did the Flashpoint, when it was going to the New 52 continuity. So Grifter was that one dude that was wearing the red mask, and he's kind of a mysterious character to people because in a way he was kind of like the Red Hood of that time frame, just a little bit. And that whenever they went into that time period where, Aquaman and Wonder Woman were at war with one another, etc. But yeah, I think it'd be pretty cool to have these type of characters and stuff for Injustice 3. Sadly, they're not. Like I said, Injustice 3 is, they deconfirmed it and everything. But I have a feeling they'll do Injustice 3, just not at the moment and stuff. Because like I said, they broke the pattern and they would like to try something else. But if they do try something else, I think the option that they could do, since they brought up Marvel and stuff, either they're going to do a Marvel vs. DC, a Marvel fighting game, or maybe a Marvel vs. Mortal Kombat. So, but who knows? And at this point, I guess we'll just wait and see what everybody thinks. And pretty sure. 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108. There is a total of 108 characters in Injustice 3. That's actually a pretty good size roster, though, for DC characters and stuff. So, like I said, build the roster. So, post a comment section below and tell me what you guys all think and what you guys like to see of an Injustice 3 game, like what your story plot would be and things. I think Darkseid would be an interesting story concept to throw in here since they brought him in Injustice 2. And he could be that one villain, that wants to wipe out everybody, including the villains, so that he can be, the last one standing and stuff. Kind of character. I can actually see him wanting to do a story arc like that, and to where, okay, this dude's got to go down because by him doing that, it's going to get worse. So, I guess that's going to be it for today's video. If you like this, hit the like button, and if you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button as always. I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye.